Hello peeps, it's Rob here from drumsaword.com. Today I want to show you how to play the song Little Lies by Fleetwood Mac, drummed by of course Mick Fleetwood. This lesson is aimed at the beginner, considering that most of the song is really basic. There are a few drum fills and a few reading challenges that will throw the beginner though, but I'm going to simplify those sections as we come to them. So the first thing I want to say about this is my first note here. Mick improvises throughout the song with open hi-hats, opening on the and a beat 1 and 3. Each verse and chorus contains different combinations and are very quiet in the mix. Feel free to improvise your own open hi-hats, but do not overuse. So what I mean by that is that I was umming and ahhing when I was transcribing this lesson as to how best to do it. I did want this song lesson to be for beginners. So what I didn't want to do was to write in every single open hi-hat that Mick puts in throughout all the verses and choruses. And there are loads. And as I said, they're all over the place. There's no consistent patterns. There is one section later in the song which we'll get to where the hi-hat opening is consistent. But for the most part, he's just opening and closing the hi-hats. Mainly on the and a beat 1. Well, 99%. There's only perhaps one note he doesn't. The and a beat 1 and the and a beat 3. They're the two hi-hat notes opening before the snare drum backbeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And there are a few bars where he does play both the and of 1 and the and of 3, but usually it just goes over, he plays one part in the bar, and then the next bar he might not open the hi-hat at all, and then so on and so on. So when it came to reading it, I didn't want this reading to be about where's the open hi-hat. I wanted it to be about coming up to the section, there's a drum fill coming up. I didn't want you to concentrate on the open hi-hat. So that's what I mean by feel free to improvise. Open your, and as you'll hear in my examples, you'll see what I mean, where you can sort of open and close the hi-hats quietly, subtly in the background, not overuse it, and then you don't have to worry about reading everything note for note and just focusing on every single little open hi-hat, because it's not important. It really isn't. The other reason I didn't include it was because it's so quiet in the mix. And I wasn't sure sometimes whether I was hearing an open hi-hat or not. That's how quiet it was in the mix. Some of them are really obvious, but I thought if I'm going to include some of them, then it's going to be annoying for the readers that want to have all of them. So I made the decision that I'm not going to include any open hi-hats on the chart, just because they are so random, they are so quiet in the mix, they don't really add anything. But you can, as a drummer, feel free to improvise and use your common sense with the open hi-hat, and it'll sound just as good. So there's my excuses out the way. First line, we got the intro, and we got 8 bars of rest where we got the synth solo at the beginning, And then Mick comes in with his first drum fill, and there are loads of examples of drum fills later on where he goes over the bar into beat 1 of the next bar. This one is relatively simple. It starts on beat 1, ends on, and doesn't go over to the next bar. As you'll see later in this lesson, I'll show you some examples of that.